We have a question on the table from the deeper, denser dimensions. Out of the depths we call to you, O Lord. Why was the hurricane path moved? We don't think it was for our benefit. It's true that it did benefit us. We personally came out better by moving the path from the east coast to the west. But it wasn't right. That was wrong. And now poor people and the more natural areas have been slammed hardest, while the wealthy humans who are the cause of the problem on planet Earth were spared. Shame on you, is my personal reaction. However, I acknowledge I could be wrong. Why was it moved? Why did you move the path of this rare resource of a Category 5 perfect storm, Hurricane Irma?
The question is going up and bouncing off things as it goes.
I see a room and they're discussing what they should say.
Yeah.
They're not really considering why it was moved. They're considering what they should say.
Yeah, that's true.
And we can feel that this room was part of a series of dimensions that had to do with, I'm supposed to put my guess on the table, protecting pet projects.
Yes, that's true.
We've come up against this before, or come across this before, and the metaphor that's been used is, quote, Betsy DeVos, unquote,
That's true.
who is an ignorant, shallow, selfish person concerned with looking good, and is willing to be the lackey of those who have straight up bad intentions in order to look good and feel important and have something to say at cocktail parties.
Yeah, that's true.
And so she's doing, and somebody's saying, and what do you mean by that? Well, she's cutting funding for programs that benefit the poor, for the benefit of corporate interests, which are programs that benefit the wealthy.
Yes, that's true.
Why do you ask? And again, our attention is brought to not only Mira del Lago, but many other resorts like that who are owned by the power elite, and these are all lives who were set up to make a change in the world. Every single one of them has walked away from that mission, quite obviously, and somebody's saying, well, how can you tell they've walked away from the mission? Our actions show who and what we really are. This is a long-standing teaching of many decades. Our actions show who and what we really are. They're continuing to support corporate interests and fossil fuel interests, and continuing to place hurdles in the way of solar, which is crazy because we all need a planet that works.
That's true.
All of us, including non-humans. And we humans are destroying this planet for all of us. Why do you ask?
Why do you ask?
They ask because they want to know how much they need to come clean.
That's true.
We already know that you guys pulled it, and you pulled the path of the storm, and that you pulled it to protect your pet projects. We already know that.
That's true.
And now somebody's being put in jail. So now what you're doing is they're setting certain people up to take the fall. And what do we know? We know we've been watching The Wizard,
that's true.
who is the planetary consciousness for planet Earth.
Yes.
And therefore surely had a part to play. And that at the height of the storm, we were asking the wizard if he was ready to tell the, quote, Betsy DeVosses, in other words, higher dimension, although not higher vibration, presences who are placed in powerful positions to protect the smaller and less powerful, and who are instead exploiting the smaller and less powerful.
That's true.
And protecting their own pet projects, their own special interests. And we asked the wizard, was he ready to tell the Betsy DeVosses of the dimensions to stop protecting their special interests? And he was not, and remains not ready.
Yeah, that's true.
To this very moment, as best we can tell. Why do you ask?
Why do you ask?
Again, because they want to know how much we know, so
Yes.
that they know how much they need to say.
Yes, that's
we
true.
we know that you guys are still protecting your special interests, and you're willing to waste the extremely valuable resource, rare and precious resource of a Category 5 hurricane that took quite a bit of planning on behalf of the nature realms and the all that is to make it happen, and you wasted it. Shame on you. You slammed poor people. Shame on you. Poor countries and poor sections of this country. And aren't you ashamed of yourself? Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Are you ashamed of yourself? Are you ashamed of yourself? This is a real question. We want to know. Is there any shame? There's no shame in that room.
Yeah, not in that room, no.
Does anybody up there see this and feel shame?
I feel a small hand very high up.
Yes, I do feel that small hand. It is shameful. It's a very small child.
Very small.
It is shameful. We agree.
What now? In order to help all of us in all dimensions acknowledge inconvenient realities, make better choices, change our ineffective habits of thinking and acting so as to create worlds that work.
And most particularly to create deeper, denser dimension worlds that work for all categories of deeper, denser dimension sentience. What now?
It's very quiet.
We're going to deliver now all of the dead from these poor nations, the recently dead from the poor nations. And we're not talking humans, we're talking all the non-humans who didn't have the benefit of shelter.
That's true.
And who were devastated. And they're just billions with a B.
That's true.
Of recently dead as a result of Hurricane Irma. Shame on you. They were powerless species in powerless countries.
That's true.
Shame on you. For shame. Are you ashamed yet? Just start delivering it right through that room. We know about this. We know about this. Right through it. Above that room. Get it above that room.
Thank you.
And I see souls clutching their blankies. In other words, child souls.
That's true.
Dead children of the deeper, denser dimensions. And their environments. We just squish it on up. Here you go. Data for you. What now? In order to help all presences acknowledge inconvenient realities and to do it for ourselves. How about this? What now? In order to help all aspects of self in all dimensions acknowledge inconvenient realities, make better choices, change ineffective habits of thinking and acting, and to create deeper, denser dimension worlds that work for all categories of deeper, denser dimension sentience, since that's our assignment and part of our soul plan, which we are required to accomplish. What now? Just squish this up.
Yeah.
All right, deliver the data. Let's look up, find the highest presence we can connect with right now, who actually wants to create deeper, denser dimension worlds that work for all categories of deeper, denser dimension sentience, and deliver this data right through that room that's sitting on our axis and to that presence.
Whoa.
Through them and to that presence. Whew.